If the Spanish por and para have been stressing you out, no worries, I got you. I'm going to go over the simplest way that you can possibly think about these two prepositions, and then I'll have a little surprise for you at the end. So be sure you stay until the end so that you can see how it all comes together. Ready? Comencemos, amigos. All right, the first thing that I want you to understand with por and para is that they don't always mean for. Okay, a lot of the confusion amongst English speakers comes into play because we think that por and para always mean for, and we're like, well, which one do I choose when I want to say for in English? They don't always mean for. They can mean by, through, in order to, because of, like so many other things. And so that's the first thing that we have to kind of unlearn. They don't always mean for, but they do a lot of the times, okay? On the flip side, we don't always need por or para when we want to say for in English, okay? Sometimes those are just not the words that we need to express the thought. So I really want you to get into the habit of thinking not as a word-for-word translation. Remember that Spanish and English are two different languages. One is not a translation of the other, so oftentimes we cannot just think word for word how to express what we want to say. We have to get into the habit of expressing the thought. Figuring out how do I express this thought that I want to convey in this other language, even if it uses different words than what I would expect. Okay? Now that that's out of the way, let me just kind of show you how I think about por and para visually, because I'm very visual. Maybe you are too. So I think of para as like this straight arrow going that way, okay? As we'll see in a moment, when we look at some examples, para is used when we are talking about a destination or a recipient or a deadline or just something that is headed that way. Now, when I think of por, I think of this arrow pointing straight down to the ground. And this is because we are extracting the root, cause, or reason behind something, or it's just something very internal. Or it can be kind of like this squiggly arrow, the squiggly line, but I personally still think of this as close to the ground. And simply because it often has to do more with the present or the path that we're currently on, the path that we're currently going through, rather than this final destination. Okay? So hopefully that helps you just kind of get a visual, and keep that visual in mind as we go through some examples. Before I forget, let me let you know that I'm actually going to create a cheat sheet for you guys about por and para so that you can have that as a handy reference. So I will leave that in the link below. I'm actually going to be uploading that to my free resource library, so you can just sign up for free, get in there, grab that, and you'll also have access to a ton of other free resources that I have that are actually kind of extensions of some of my YouTube videos. So enjoy. I'll leave that for you here in the link below. All right, let's start with para. And to make this easier, let's just continue to visualize. So let's imagine two characters, Ana y Luis. They are both learning Spanish and they're planning a trip to Oaxaca, Mexico. So the first use of para that we'll go over is talking about a purpose or a goal. So let me show you what I mean. So Ana says, estudio español para tener más amigos. Estudio español para tener más amigos. So her end goal, the result, the purpose of her studying Spanish is to have more friends. All right, we're going to use para in that instance. Luis says, leo en voz alta para practicar mi pronunciación. Leo en voz alta para practicar mi pronunciación. Para. So the purpose of him reading out loud is to improve his pronunciation. That's a good method. I think Luis must follow this channel. Ana is getting her camera ready and she says, voy a tomar fotos para recordar el viaje. Voy a tomar fotos para recordar el viaje. So the purpose of her pictures will be in order to remember the trip. Now I want you to notice something here. In all of these examples where para is being used for the purpose or the goal, we could actually, in the English translation, substitute the word para for in order to. All right, I am going to take pictures in order to remember the trip. I'm studying Spanish in order to have more friends. I'm reading out loud in order to improve my pronunciation. So if we think of in order to, after that is going to follow an infinitive verb, okay? to do something. And we see that that's the case in all three of our examples. So that is one way of you to think of para. Whenever you need to say in order to, the word that you're going to be looking for is para. Now, that's not to say that every time we're using para as a destination, we're going to be able to say in order to, and it's going to be followed by an infinitive. Not always. We could also have a sentence like, pronto estaré listo para el viaje. So, I will soon be ready for the trip. So again, that para is being used as that destination. Para el viaje. This is a little different, okay? We're not saying in order to travel. We could do that too. Pronto estaré listo para viajar. But in this case, we're changing at the end, we're using a noun, and so we're going to say para el viaje. But it's still a destination, still a purpose or a goal. Is this helpful so far? Are you able to visualize why we described the arrows the way that we did? If so, give me a like to let me know that that made sense. And that brings us into the next use. So besides a purpose or a goal, we could actually be talking about a physical destination, okay? So they are physically going to go to Oaxaca, Mexico. So Anna may be telling someone about their plans and she says, vamos para Oaxaca el próximo mes. Vamos para Oaxaca el próximo mes. Okay? So a literal destination that she's going towards. And then Luis says, salimos para el aeropuerto a las 6 de la mañana. Salimos para el aeropuerto a las 6 de la mañana. So they will go to this destination of the airport at 6 a.m. We can also use para for a recipient. So again, we have our arrow going this way because we have something, we're giving it to someone else. So Ana thinks about her host. She wants to make a good impression on her host when they arrive to Oaxaca, so she buys them a gift. Este regalo es para nuestro anfitrión. Este regalo es para nuestro anfitrión. Luis wants to be a smart traveler and he says, compré una guía de la ciudad para ti. Compré una guía de la ciudad para ti. So he has something in his possession and it's going to a recipient. Para ti. For you. Para can also be used for a deadline, okay? We have a cutoff. Right here we have a cutoff. And Luis is looking at his work situation and he says, tengo que terminar mi trabajo para el viernes. Tengo que terminar mi trabajo para el viernes. I have to finish my work by Friday. Friday is the deadline. We're going toward this deadline, okay? We have a destination here. And Ana sees that, oh, whoa, the date has arrived. Tenemos que estar listos para mañana. We have to be ready by tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline. Tenemos que estar listos para mañana. And now let's go into por. So remember, por is like that arrow pointing to the ground, even perhaps starting from the ground and pointing up. Okay, that's another way to think about it. But we have something coming from the ground. We're getting the root cause of something, or it's taking us through something in the present. All right, so the first way in which we can use por is a reason or a cause behind something. So why are they even going to Oaxaca? Well, Luis says, vamos a Oaxaca por su historia y cultura. Vamos a Oaxaca por su historia y cultura. This is the reason. Because of, okay? How about this one? Vamos a visitar el museo por su colección de arte prehispánico. Vamos a visitar el museo por su colección de arte prehispánico. Por. So, the reason, the root cause that they will be going to this museum is because of the pre-Hispanic art collection. All right, we're diving into the root cause. We also use por for a means or a method. So, Ana's thinking about those photos she's gonna take, and she says, voy a enviar las fotos por WhatsApp. Voy a enviar las fotos por WhatsApp. So she's going to send the pictures through by the means of WhatsApp. That's how she's going to send them. And how about reservamos nuestro hotel por internet? Reservamos nuestro hotel por internet. We reserved our hotel by internet. So this is the means, the mode by which this reservation took place. Por is also used for duration. So nos quedamos en Oaxaca por 2 semanas. Nos quedamos en Oaxaca por 2 semanas. We stayed in Oaxaca for 2 weeks. Vamos a estudiar español por 2 horas cada día. Vamos a estudiar español por 2 horas cada día. This is the time frame, the duration that they'll be studying Spanish each day. So again, in all of these situations, we can think of por more as that downward arrow or that arrow that is moving us through a certain movement in space at the present time. And that takes us to our next point. Por can mean of movement through space. For example, caminaremos por el centro histórico. Caminaremos por el centro histórico. So we're going to take a walk through this historic center. Or vamos a pasear por el mercado. Vamos a pasear por el mercado. We're going to take a walk through the market, okay? In this last way in which we use por, the arrows get a little crossed. They're not exactly what we had said. They look more like this, okay? It's an exchange or a substitution. So while Ana and Luis are on the plane, Ana tells Luis that she really wanted the window seat, and she says, te cambio mi asiento por el tuyo. Te cambio mi asiento por el tuyo. So I'll trade, or I'll exchange, my seat for yours. All right, guys, just to summarize quickly, para is our preposition of purpose. We use it to talk about a purpose, a goal, a destination, a recipient, or a deadline. Por is more multifaceted, but we can think of it more as the here and now or coming along with us on our journey. And we're going to use it to talk about reason, cause, means, duration, or travel through a space. And even exchanges as well. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful for you. Hey, before you go, would you like to hear the full story about Ana and Luis? I'll leave you with the story, but before I go, make sure that you do go grab that cheat sheet of por and para that I'm going to create for you. I'm going to put that in my resource library, so be sure to check the link below for that. And now I leave you with the full little short story about Ana and Luis. Enjoy! Disfruta la historia.
Ana y Luis están planeando un viaje a Oaxaca para mejorar su español y explorar la rica cultura de la región. Ana es muy dedicada a sus estudios. A menudo dice, estudio español para tener más amigos de muchas partes del mundo. Luis también es un buen estudiante y frecuentemente practica su lectura. Dice, leo en voz alta para mejorar mi pronunciación. Pronto estaré listo para el viaje. Ana está emocionada. Vamos para Oaxaca el próximo mes. Ya reservamos nuestro hotel por internet. Luis asiente y agrega, recuerda, Ana, salimos para el aeropuerto a las 6 de la mañana. A medida que se acerca el viaje, Ana piensa en su anfitrión en Oaxaca. Ella compra un regalo y dice, este regalo es para nuestro anfitrión. Luis dice, yo también compré algo. Compré una guía de la ciudad para ti para que no te pierdas. Ana se ríe. Con la fecha de salida acercándose, se dan cuenta de que necesitan preparar todo a tiempo. Luis, revisando su horario de trabajo, responde, necesito terminar mi trabajo para el viernes. Ana le recuerda a Luis, tenemos que estar listos para mañana. Luis habla sobre por qué eligieron Oaxaca. Vamos a Oaxaca por su historia y cultura, explica. Ana asiente, agregando, también quiero aprender sobre las tradiciones locales y la gastronomía. Mientras planean, hablan sobre la duración de su estancia. Nos quedamos en Oaxaca por 2 semanas, dice Luis. Vamos a estudiar español por 2 horas cada día. Ana está emocionada de explorar la ciudad y dice, caminaremos por el centro histórico. ¡Ay! No puedo olvidarme de mi cámara. Voy a tomar muchas fotos para recordar el viaje y compartirlas con todos mis amigos. Las enviaré por WhatsApp. En el avión, Ana le dice a Luis, te cambio mi asiento por el tuyo, porque quiere un asiento junto a la ventana. Ya en Oaxaca, Ana y Luis disfrutan de una experiencia inolvidable. Descubren nuevos lugares y prueban comidas típicas. Luis dice, mañana vamos a visitar el museo por su colección de arte prehispánico. Ya llega el último día del viaje y Ana dice, vamos a pasear por el mercado una vez más antes de irnos. Mientras compran recuerdos, Luis encuentra un hermoso collar para Ana y dice, te doy este collar por la ayuda que me has dado con mi español. Ana está muy feliz. Un día después, Ana y Luis regresan a casa llenos de recuerdos y experiencias, agradecidos por la oportunidad de mejorar su español y vivir la cultura de Oaxaca. Con una sonrisa en sus rostros, comienzan a planificar su próxima aventura.